Hey, this is Chugg, and I'm here to talk about why some players will struggle with Diabotical despite having a lot of experience in other FPS games. So, in this game, there is no recoil or spray control. There are no headshots, there's no reloading, and when you take damage, there is no weapon flinch. These sound like advantages, right? You should just make it more consistent, easier to express your skill. But these are weaknesses that your opponents don't have. If you consider a game like Counter-Strike, a new player who is just running around trying to keep the crosshair on target and just shoot all their bullets, they are so weak in terms of the pressure that they have, because players in the game understand that I just have to simply step out, step for an angle, short control spray, they die, and then I can go do something else. I'm under no threat from this kind of player. But in Diabotical, that weakness doesn't exist. Veterans are still able to do really well though in these games, and they feel like they're unkillable. They hit all of their damage, just constant pressure, just like a unstoppable force through the map. So what are they doing? What weakness are they exploiting? And there are three. Sorry, the rhythm of this is a bit off. Let's go with weapon choice. There's weapon choice, positioning, and movement. Weapon choice. Let's say in this position I've got rockets and I'm coming here because I want to pick up the shaft. My opponent has come and is about to take it themselves. Rockets from here are really weak because the only way I deal damage is if I hit a direct at mid-range, which can happen, and there are good players that can do that with some degree of consistency, like 10-20% of the time, or even better if they've got a hard read on the opponent's dodge. But it's just so hard to deal damage with rockets from this position. It's absolutely the wrong weapon to choose. Contrast that with the pincer. I could do all sorts of jiggle peeks to get myself an angle and then hide my hitbox. So it's choices like that where a veteran player will just not try to use rockets and will not make that mistake and will just be using effective weapons more often than a new player will. Positioning. Okay, let's take this example again where this player doesn't understand that they have a strong position. They've taken the shaft, the opponent, veteran player, a bit careless, has strafe jumped all the way into the room. So now they're here. It's not just a matter of retreating. They're not feeling any threat, so they just come here. Oh wow, strong player. I gotta run away and try to sort of create some distance and defend myself. They don't understand that this player only had rockets and had small chance of hitting them here, but seeing the retreat can adjust their crosshair, aim at some terrain that can splash, and hit like 40 damage. So the difference in positional strength can vary dramatically over a short distance. Same thing with here. If I committed to the room, I start eating some shaft, I've taken damage, my opponent is like, oh, I've hit them for like 40, let's get in there. Rockets are now strong, because if they choose to commit this side, it's going to be rocket, die. They die in 2 rockets, and it's really easy shots to hit. If they try to come out this way, I can hear the jump sound, I can pre-fire, I can rain rockets from a decent position, or I could step forward for a committal fight, maybe because I had good stack and they're committing off of 30 damage. Positional strength is just really can change a lot. The third element is movement, which can be movement through the map, but we'll just think about dodge for now. Let's say I am a stronger player, I've got rockets and pincer, my opponent is weaker but knows that this is reasonably safe. I can step forward, threatening to like jump and attack and get an angle for my rockets to bounce them around. The player who's trying to use the shaft will have to switch to rockets and pre-fire here in order to punish that sort of aggressive move. But this small movement input is all I need to invest in order to get my opponent to switch and fire in this position. Now I can switch weapons again, pull back, create some distance and safety. That's that's a really idealized version of what happens in terms of dodging, but that's legitimately what goes on. It's that I have movement inputs that convince my opponent to do something, and then I can punish their following through on that. Which is why when really strong players are patient, they see that I step forward, step back, I'm like, oh, it didn't work, and now I'm just getting shafted to death. Well, that didn't work. So relying on dodges is not something you want to do, but in certain situations, these veteran players are able to trick new players because they don't have the bank of experience to understand to process the fight and what their best chance of success would be. Anyway, so there it is. If you're a new player and you're struggling, if you can direct your attention, your curiosity to investigating these things, weapon choice, positioning, and movement, then you'll have you'll fare much better against these stronger players. Alright, I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you later.